YOLO. If you're anything like me, you hate taxes. Now, luckily, there are some ways that you can legally avoid or mitigate your taxes as much as possible. And today we're going to be talking about that in regards to where you live. Which states are the most tax-friendly to live in? And the best way to get started is with a song.
With me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination.
I wanted to spare you the horror of having to hear me sing. Dead by Daylight in the background is already horror enough as is. There are 9 states in America that do not have any state income, and we'll start with those. We will be going in alphabetical order, starting with the state that I dream of moving to one day, Alaska. Here is the state flag. Now, not only is Alaska friendly in the fact that it doesn't have a state income tax, it also does not have a statewide sales tax. Some zones, like tourist areas, do have sales tax though, so that is one thing to keep in mind. It depends on where you live. So, double tax evasion legally with this state, on top of living in a beautiful area. Sign me up. And let's not forget that one extra little bonus of Alaska is that if you are an Alaskan resident, you get to participate in the oil money. And basically that means at the end of the year, however much money they make from oil, a small kickback is given to each citizen. It's probably not going to outweigh the cost of, imported goods like milk, but it's still nice to think that you're getting paid just to live there. Next up on our list is a state that I would love to live in based off of everything it's doing right, but I wouldn't live there because of its geography. That being Florida. The Florida state flag looks a little better than Alaska, but we don't really care about how their flags look. We care about how tax-friendly they are. Florida, no state income tax. On top of that, currently in legislation, they are putting forth a motion to get rid of property tax. So once you buy your house and have finished paying it off, you no longer have to pay money every single year for just owning that piece of property, making it incredibly easy to just live your life. I'm fully in favor of that. Now, the reason I'm not going to move to Florida is because the geography. I hate the South. Nothing against you Southerners, it's just too hot down there for me. I'd take freezing snow temperatures over swampy 90-degree days with 90-degree humidity any day of the week. Now, the next state on our list is known for one thing, and that's a very predominant city it has. And I'm talking about the state of Nevada, and none other than the city of Las Vegas. Now, the beauty of Las Vegas is the fact that the house always wins. And in this case, the state itself is the house. The money that comes in from Vegas helps to offset the tax burden on the citizens, allowing them to have no state income tax. If you want to avoid state income taxes and still have access to a big city and nightlife, Nevada might be the state to consider moving to. But perhaps you like living on the East Coast. In that case, may I suggest the lovely state of New Hampshire? New Hampshire, a state that has no state income tax, and is in an area that is rich with a cultural history for our country. You could do a day trip to New York City if you really wanted to. I have no idea why you would want to, but you could. Or you could go and see historical sites, something as riveting as the Plymouth Rock in Massachusetts. Here's what it looks like. Now you don't have to spend your money, which you're paying less taxes on, to go look at a literal rock. You're welcome. But perhaps you don't really like big cities, crowded areas, having the ability to see your neighbors. You want space. You want to be away from it all. And you still want to avoid paying those taxes. In that case, might I suggest the lovely state of South Dakota. South Dakota, a beautiful state to live in. Mount Rushmore in your backyard. Tourists helping to pay down all the taxes so you don't have to. at a state sales tax of 4% when the national average is around 5 to 6. You're even paying slightly less for everyday goods. Space, a cool sight to see, and less taxes paid. This just might be your new home. But perhaps you like the Appalachian Mountains more. The beautiful changing colors of the leaves during fall. Music, moonshine. In that case, all I have to ask is, are you from Nashville? Because you're the only 10 I see. Tennessee has no state income tax. And on top of that, they also currently have legislation in place that is going to be voted upon to get rid of property tax as well. No state income tax, no property tax, beautiful area to live, and still access to a good nightlife and a major city, if that's your vibe. For this next state, let's see if you can guess what it is before I say it. Here, I'll give you a hint. As I'm sure you guessed, our next state that has no state income tax is none other than Texas. No state income tax, massive job growth and opportunity within the last couple of years, and a large number of corporations moving their headquarters for tax evasion reasons, of course. Texas just might be your next dream state if you want to try and avoid taxes legally. But I know some people don't like the dry, desert-like conditions of Texas. It's too hot and arid. In that case, you still wish to avoid state income tax, but you want something a lot cooler, damper, and more misty and rainy. Then look no further than the state of Washington. Washington state has some beautiful scenery, and close to one of the best state parks I've ever been, which is Crater Lake in Oregon. You can make a day trip out of it. Great area. The only problem is, it's rather expensive up there. The median house price is over $620,000, and the national average is only $420,000. Now, you are paying less in taxes, but higher prices and a larger sales tax means that money you're saving is pretty much getting eaten up before you can even do anything with it. So moving to this state would really only be if it's your perfect dream state, similar to how Alaska is my dream state. And finally, last, but certainly not least, in states that have no state income tax, we have the state of Wyoming. Wyoming, a state with plenty of elbow room, large open landscapes, huge potential for off-grid living or homesteading, as well as maybe even hobby farming. Beautiful scenery, and of course, you live nearby Yellowstone.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
Perfect for anyone who's looking to get away from it all and to pay as little in taxes as possible. Here's a little bonus tax evasion tip. The state to your north, Montana, they have no state sales tax. So if you live near the northern border, you could get no state income tax from Wyoming. Drive 20, 30 miles north, do all your grocery shopping, car repairs, whatever you need up there, and avoid paying any kind of state sales tax. Double tax evasion for the price of one. Now, I know we've already covered a couple of these states, but there are 5 states that do not have statewide sales tax, only local or city taxes. And these 5 beautiful states are Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon. Now, depending on what you do for work and how much money you make, it might make more sense for you to actually live in a state that has no state sales tax rather than a state that has no state income tax. Because if you're not making enough for the savings to be worth staying in that state, then it would actually be better to live somewhere that has no state sales tax. Because let's face it, you still got to eat. Food costs money, and every time you spend money, you have to pay sales tax. So it would be nice to avoid sales tax if possible, depending on what kind of job you have and how much you make. And speaking of jobs, it depends really on if you are 1099 or a W-2 employee for how you pay taxes from your payroll. See, if you're a W-2 employee, then you end up having the taxes automatically deducted from your paychecks before you can do anything with them. But if you're a 1099 independent contractor, then it's up to you at the end of the year to pay your taxes, which means you get your full amount of money and you can do with it as you please. Now, I'm no tax accountant or CPA, so everything I say you have to take with a grain of salt and realize it's for educational and entertainment purposes. But me personally, if I was a 1099 employee, I would be taking the money that I normally would be setting aside for taxes and investing in that. Then, when tax season comes around, I have increased the amount of money that I normally wouldn't even have seen. That way, I can pay off the taxes and still keep the surplus for myself. A little added bonus. But maybe you're saying to yourself, sales tax and state income tax, those don't really bother me.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Property taxes. In that case, I've got 7 states here with the lowest state property tax. However, the information on these might be slightly outdated, so take them with a grain of salt. We have, in no particular order, Hawaii, Alabama, Colorado, Louisiana, South Carolina, Nevada, and Utah. So it looks like Nevada stays winning. Low property tax and no state income tax. Good job, Nevada. Now, this all assumes that you want to stay living in America. But let's say you have some skills. You can do some online tech wizardry and work remotely. If I had that kind of ability, I would probably move to a country that uses pesos. That way I earn in American dollars but spend in local pesos, so the currency conversion rate is strong and in my favor. However, even if you live in another country, you still have to pay taxes to the American government. The IRS will have their pound of flesh. Currently, there are only 2 countries on the planet that tax their citizens no matter where they are. And out of those 2 countries, only one has the power and infrastructure to enforce it. You'll never guess which country that is. But that covers some of the most tax-friendly states here in America, and how you can legally avoid your taxes. And now for a quick recap of what we've learned today. Starting off with states with no state income tax. Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire. South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming. Now we move on to the states that have no statewide sales tax. Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon. And lastly, we have states with the lowest property tax, starting off with Hawaii, Alabama, Colorado, Louisiana, South Carolina, Nevada, and Utah. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite part of the video was. This one took a lot longer to make, but it also had a lot more editing in it, which I think makes it a cut above the rest. One of my favorite videos anyway. But let me know how you like it down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll leave you with one more video before I catch you on the flip side.
You're going to love this. Just love it.
Where are we going? I don't know, but I don't like what's that tunnel up there. Hey, Wonka, I want off!
Round the world and home again. That's the sailor's way.
I don't like this ride, Daddy! What is this, a freak out?
Hey, this isn't funny.
This is kind of strange.
Yeah, strange, Charlie, but it's fun.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
I can take a joke, but this has gone too far. Tell our little guy to turn this around, Wonka!
Now I am gonna be sick.
Couldn't be.
He's singing. Which way, or which way the river's flowing? Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is a hurricane a blowing? Not a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing. Are the fires of hell a glowing? Is the grisly reaper mowing? Yes! The danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing.
Oh, make him stop, Daddy!
Wonka, this has gone far enough. Quite right, sir. Stop the boat.
We're there.